Last movie we're talking about is the new Universal Legacy series, Boris Karloff in The Mummy from 1932.
Oh my God. Directed by a guy by the name of Karl Freund, who was the cinematographer on Dracula. A lot of people don't realize that.
Dracula!
He was pretty famous cinematographer. It's 1921, and this is like a story of every mummy movie you'll ever fucking watch. There's a team of archaeologists led by some Sir guy who uncovers a 3,000-year-old mummy of Imhotep. And when they open the scroll, I think it's the scroll of Thoth or Thoth or shit, something I can't pronounce.
The scroll of Grayskull.
Yeah. Scroll of Grayskull. Yeah. Of course, when they open that, the mummy comes to life. And there's it says right on the damn thing, there's a curse to anybody that opens this.
You don't open that shit.
Yeah, you don't open the tomb, you don't open the scroll, you don't open anything. You don't open a can of peanut butter. You don't have anything to do with anything that has to do with a mummy. But This is in 1932. I mean, a lot of people didn't realize this stuff at that time. But, unknown to everybody else, the mummy exists as a mysterious Ardolph, is that right? Ardolph Bey?
Yeah.
I think that's right. Who's played by Boris Karloff in the film.
Who's this Shriner-looking sort of guy.
He does look like a Shriner. He looks like he should be smoking and playing bingo or something.
But yeah, the first thing I noticed about this movie is it's made in 1932, and the makeup effects in this, and I totally noticed it in this, even more so than like the Frankenstein, because honestly, like Frankenstein, I mean, it looks, for its age, it still looks good, but for this, it looks fucking good, even to this day. With the mummy effects in this, and then the aging effects they actually put on the Ardolph Bey character, putting the wrinkles on his face and stuff like that. Definitely amazing looking, but we'll get into talking about that later.
After they uncover the Ardolph Bey character comes back, and he kind of helps them uncover the tomb of this ancient love, this woman that he fell in love with, and he uses his powers of, he's got like a ring on his hand that he uses to mesmerize people and stuff like this, and he uses the power to kind of entrance this woman, who I think is played by Zita Johann. The name's Helen in the film, to entrance her and cause her to fall in love with him and all this stuff, which is basically like his master plan at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, basically every mummy movie I've ever seen has this same plot. I mean, it's always about there's a team of archaeologists who uncover a scroll or a tomb, and they're not supposed to. They break into it, they get cursed, and then the mummy comes back to life and all this stuff and takes his revenge. Except in this one, they throw in like a little love story that kind of helps out with the back plot of the film as well. Excellent film, though. As far as atmosphere and stuff in the film goes, it's probably one of the best films from the Universal era that I've ever seen. I just think that the guy that directed, like I said, where he was a cinematographer, has a lot to do with, there's like a really unique visual style to the film. Yeah. You really feel like you're in ancient Egypt in a lot of the sequences where you're supposed to be that way. They actually sped up the camera in a lot of the flashback sequences to make it look older than it actually was, which is amazing that they would even think to do that in 1932. It looks pretty fucking old anyway.
Another thing that's amazing about it is Boris Karloff is the mummy, and Ardolph Bey or whatever.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, that's the same fucking guy that was Frankenstein. I mean, and he's just old, like he plays a brittle fucking old guy in this. And it's just amazing to see, like, especially if you've seen how huge they made him in Frankenstein. He, onto this, like, old man, pretty much, 3,000-year-old mummy in this. It's astonishing. And the movie itself, like, it's not, you don't see the mummy too much.
That's what I was thinking. Like, it's called The Mummy, but really there's not even a mummy in it except for the first little bit of the film, the first 5 or 10 minutes of the film. Like, after that, it's basically the Ardolph Bey character, who's just like you said, like an old Shriner looking dude. Yeah. But,
I was pretty impressed with this movie. This isn't one that's, of the Universal monster movies, the first one's always, Frankenstein usually, then Dracula. Then even probably Creature from the Black Lagoon. Now, I think The Mummy, a lot of people like the movie, but it's definitely maybe the black sheep of the famous four Universal monster movies.
It's definitely the bastard child of all those movies. Like, if you put Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolf Man, and even probably the creature from Black Lagoon up there, it would be even less than those movies in a lot of people's eyes. Which, I mean, I don't really understand it. It's just as good as Dracula to me. I mean, it's basically almost the same movie, really, as far as the tone and stuff goes.
Right. But getting to the new edition that Universal released, and they've released a few editions of this. There's actually another Legacy edition, which I don't have. I don't know what's on that, but I can tell you that this one has a ton of documentaries on it. On the first disc, you have Mummy Dearest, A Horror Tradition Unearthed, which is a documentary about the making of this movie. And you have 2 feature-length commentaries, one with film historian Paul M. Jensen, and the other one with Rick Baker, Scott Essman, Stephen Haberman, Bob Burns, and Brent Armstrong. And these guys are all pretty much students of this film and the Universal Monster series, collectors. Rick Baker is pretty much an expert on the makeup effects artist Jack Pierce, which was his idol growing up, I think is what he mentioned. But you also have posters and still galleries and a trailer gallery with all 5 of the Mummy film trailers on that. Then disc 2, which is amazing. I actually watched a bit of this. There's about a 25-minute documentary on He Who Made the Monsters, the life and art of Jack Pierce, which is a guy that did the makeup effects and stuff for Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, Bride of Frankenstein, the Wolfman, all the early Universal Monster movies. Really interesting documentary. It has Greg Nicotero, Tom Savini, Rick Baker on it, Howard Berger, all talking about this guy, and really interesting stuff, just how he worked and did stuff, laying the I think they mentioned they laid the Wolfman hair just the way that they did the Wolfman character. They would lay like a strand, like a patch of it at one time. Once they get it all on there, they would singe it to make it look like it was all like naturally on the head.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So 5 or 6 hour like makeup is how long it would take some of that shit. Also, though, you got Unraveling the Legacy of the Mummy and Universal Horror, which is a feature-length documentary, 90-minute documentary, which I didn't get to watch, but I did find out that is how long it is. So,
yeah, and it comes in like a leather-bound case. I mean, this is the Universal Legacy series of the disc. So I definitely recommend that you buy it, though. I can't recommend it anymore.
I thought it was a pretty cool set, and I like how they put it in that box. You know,
comes out.
Looks like it's a leather book, sort of.
Comes out next week. Special edition, digitally remastered. Looks great. That is.
Tastes great.
Tastes great. Less feeling. That is the Mummy.
Give us the thumbs up.
Up your butt.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do.
I want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that, pal.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. And click that bell. Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. DeadPit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.